Hey everybody, hey Sinistello. We are back to working on skill tree stuff. I wanted to make the skill tree look sort of like the game menu does, where it looks something like this. It won't pause the game, but it won't be off to the side and able to be covered by like everything else. And I guess the only thing to consider maybe is what happens when we have this open and then hit escape. And I guess you just see the skill tree behind this. I think that'd be okay. Yeah, I think that's it. We're just going to move it over. Maybe center it on the screen. Yeah, maybe that makes more sense. Which I guess means that we wouldn't have it in the town view. Or not this one, this one. There's the skill tree. Although it is just a control. How does that work? How does that work? Do we just always open this at the same position? I don't know. Hey, Kevin. Actually, don't know how this works. Is it laid out here? Yeah, it's laid out here. Okay, yeah. This is what gives it a position on the screen. Okay, what we want to do then is just revert this. And I guess have this take up the entire screen. And that way the skill tree can just be centered. What is going on? Oh, I was like, why is the skill tree only one button? All right, so how do we center this now? I guess we also say full rect and then figure this stuff out. It's probably just like the game menu. Game menu. This is set to take up, oh, this isn't set to take up everything, is it? Is it full rect? It is, yeah. And then we have this inside a panel container. Nothing is center. Oh, I see. It's got anchor set to center. Interesting. So we could just do the exact same thing here and set the anchor to center. Center. There. Now we do want it to be larger than this, in case that's not obvious. Where do we do that? I guess we set custom for this and then set the bottom to go lower and the top to go higher. Yeah, so let's do like 0.1 and 0.9. Okay, so now that'll take up the whole screen. It should already have taken effect in the game, yeah. And if we were to then just kind of gray out the rest, then this would be fine. I don't think you should even be able to do this. I think there should be an overlay over the background, which I guess means we'd have a double overlay if you also started up this thing. Maybe it could be a faint overlay on the background. I'm just thinking, what if you have like a dialogue open over here and this open down at the bottom? Maybe we have a bunch of instances. You have the player-wide skill tree open somewhere, which I can't even get because I don't have that. Yeah, it's like that's too much stuff on the screen. So I think, yeah, we gray out the rest, prevent you from clicking anything else. Okay, and I think this is already set so that it scrolls. Yeah. All right. So we just need to get that overlay in the background. How does the menu do that? It puts it underneath the same control. And this also has a rect, I'm guessing, of full rect. And yeah. Okay, pretty easy. So do I care about doubling this thing? Probably not at first. Yeah, there we go. So easy. I do think I want this to be slightly less, or slightly less opaque. Maybe something like that. Maybe that's not enough. Maybe it is. Who knows? And then change this to 0.05 and 0.95. All right, how's that now? It doesn't show up. I probably need to just restart this because I added a new node. Yeah. And now you can't click the background. You'd have to close this, which I think you'd expect clicking the background would close this, but you'd also probably expect this to be above everything and not for start battle to be an option that you have there. Yeah, I think the skill tree stuff should go on top of all of this. Which just means we need a higher Z index. Or maybe it doesn't even mean that. Maybe it means we just need this to be lower down in the tree, like there. Yeah, that's it. Okay, and then like I said, I think clicking the background, you'd expect it to close the skill tree. So let's go do that too. We'll make this like that. And what is that thing? Actually, it doesn't matter what it is. It's a control. Private control overlay background. Get it. And then when you click it, it's a color rect, and it has a GUI input thing. And we just added a GUI input to something else. So if we just search for this plus equal, yeah, there it is. So we just go get this, we copy it, and it's just as easy as can be, isn't it? On background GUI input. And mouse button equals left. So we want to call close. I don't know if there is a close. There has to be, though. There's a close button. So whatever the close button is connected to is what this thing's going to be connected to. Where is the close button? Why don't I see it? Huh. Close. There it is. On closed invoke. Now I'll just make a private void close. And now I can call this. And I can call it from here. Close. And that's it. Let's try it out. It does not work. Why not, though? I started from here. There's no issue, no obvious issue at least. Oh, I never added the event. Ugh, I always forget that. All right, so we get the background, and then we need to add that thing to it. Dot GUI input plus equal that. Yeah. I think this will be maximum usability here. Yeah. And like I said, it doesn't pause the game. So if you were like, oh, let me move the camera, you can just move the camera and reopen it. And this should be fine. Now, if you do have the menu on top of that, then yeah, I think that's fine too. I wonder if clicking the background here should make you return to the game. Probably, especially if that's how we make it work for this thing. But it's not very important. But yeah, I think this alone is already better. Also going to put adventurers button in the center top. This. I think eventually we're going to have some sort of like Chrome around the game. And you'll access a few things through that. Although I'm not totally sure what that's going to look like yet. But Dark had some mock-ups in the game team group. But yeah, I guess just picture like any other game that puts things in the Chrome. Like if we look at Diablo 2. Actually, this probably doesn't show up in many pictures, but something like this, where there's a UI element just anchored to the bottom at all times. So imagine something probably anchored to the top and it shows you your money, and there's like a nice button for adventurer skills or player skills or something, maybe to show your available quests. Hey, someone, why did you go with C# instead of GDScript? Let me turn this into a command, because I do get asked this quite a lot, and I don't, for some reason, have a command, even though I have like 500 other commands. There we go. All right, why C#? Oops, that's not how that even works. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I don't think GDScript is a bad option, or at least I think it's getting better, but I used it earlier this year and I was not happy with it. Hey, Pretty Technic, thanks for the resub. Prefer seeing blurry. It took me a second. Then I realized, no, Freak Technic wouldn't do that. But Freak Technic did that. Anyway, thanks for the resub. The C# jokes will never stop until we kill the language. All right, skill tree changes. Looks good, looks good. Yeah, all this looks good. We didn't really change a whole lot for this to work. So center the skill tree It also has a background that appears behind it to slightly mask the town. You can click this background to close the skill tree. Joke about native languages all day. Oh man, speaking of joking about stuff and Mozilla, I think Chrome is getting rid of uBlock pretty soon for the whole manifest v3 stuff. And I've been trying to figure out, do I use Chrome for anything Google specific? Like, is it helping me with stuff that I'm not aware of? And what would it take to switch to Firefox? And I mean, all the browser stuff, like I have a home page, I have custom site searches, so I can do something like this and search for whatever character, and it'll actually search GitHub. That's all part of Firefox as well. But there's got to be something I'm doing that's not part of Firefox. I've been thinking that same thing. Can I switch? Yeah. 2.5 days to get banned. Using Brave, it's pretty good. I think I tried Brave briefly. And actually, if you want to redirect all your Brave attention tokens to me, you technically could, although I don't even remember how. Someone set that up, and I've been getting money, like a very, very tiny amount of money over the last 5 years or something. I don't even know what that means. Brave as a browser has some way of you giving a cryptocurrency just by default to someone. And it's just based on how you use the internet. So basically it's no change to you and I end up getting some money somehow. But like I said, I don't remember how you even set it up. So I don't have anything I can link you to. I don't remember the name I used. All I know is I've got like $5 somewhere. Someday that might grow to be $10. I'm willing to die on this hill. Joke's on you. I'm going to ban all accounts that didn't follow like 2 weeks ago or earlier. Just in case. I'm going to play whack-a-mole with thousands of accounts. Until they remove Manifest v2. Did I manage to get off the internet? No, you can't get off the internet now. Skeleseller needs you. But yeah, I think the choices for me would probably be Firefox or... yeah, probably just Firefox. Or just stay with Chrome and don't have an ad blocker, which I think would be nuts. No, actually, no. The other option would be to get a Pi-hole, I think. And just have ad blocking at the DNS level. CD release via letter. It's gonna happen. Fells with hat. I have no clue. Fells with mustache. Who is that? All right, this is done. Playwright skill tree needs to have icons. This is not very important. I'm gonna put very little time into this. Can't recommend enough and super easy to do. Actually, I do have a Raspberry Pi that's doing nothing, but I assume that I can run a Pi-hole on my mini PC. The thing is, what happens if your Pi or whatever's hosting the Pi-hole, what happens if that goes offline? I guess you set your secondary DNS to be Google or something. You get normal DNS. Yeah, maybe I'll go that route. Because I assume that's pretty much just as good as using uBlock, right? Like I know that uBlock has the ad zapper feature, but presumably that still works. Look into installing Pi-hole on my mini PC. Then set the router's DNS to that machine. Yeah, that should be pretty easy to do. All right, yeah, I'll have to look into that. Then see what all of these garbage mobile sites look like. Man, I like some gaming news, and the news is not, it doesn't need to be written well or anything. It's just news. And there's a site that is just the trashest, garbagest site, PC Gamer. If you go to this on a mobile device, at least, I don't know, let's just click any one of these things. This one. Okay, this is not bad with uBlock. It's like the worst experience on mobile. It's so bad. And see comments, you have to click this because it scrolls the page so far down to get past all the ads. Yeah. They have like entire takeovers. Yeah. And it's not even just that site. I know I singled that out, but a lot of sites are just, they're just obnoxious. It's like, how much can we crank up ads? And I just feel like the next thing they're going to do is they're going to have something like an article that's going to be like, hi, ad, how, ad, are, and this is how you're going to read things in the future, is just an ad every other word, and you're going to like it. Some of the sites are on, yeah. Only the title is above the fold is a true end game. I just, how did we get to this point? I know how we got to this point. And yeah, why serve one ad when you can serve 17 ads? All right, player abilities. What do we have? We only got 5, I think. I don't even know where we define them. Ability ID, apparently. Swift shoes. Where do we define them? Oh, they're all right here. Item doubling, swift shoes, shiny loot, auto battle. So item doubling, swift shoes, auto battle, cloning. And what's the last one? Shiny loot. Yeah. I remember when there was copy pasta around this stuff. Can I watch video ads in Skeleseller for free items? You know, if the game were free to play, yes. And maybe on mobile we end up going a route like that. In fact, I wonder if in mobile we did microtransactions, and I wonder if it'd be more popular than, or more profitable than the Steam version. Hey, Dark. All right, so item doubling. Let's just search for item, or maybe loot or something like that. Again, this does not have to be good. I think these are just going to be temporary. Loot. This could probably work for shiny. Whoa, that's garbage. Reset background, reset foreground. Yeah, I guess delete the background. Type none. Yeah, that could be for shiny loot. Okay, cool. So shiny loot we'll say is done. Cloning. Which one looks better? This one or this one? Probably this one. Yeah. All right. Next up is Swift shoes. So I'll search for shoes. We cannot use Sonic shoes. Is there anything that looks like fast shoes? Ah, these running shoes. Yeah, I like that one. Okay. Kebab. What? Those E numbers. Are you talking about, there are two kinds of Smarties, right? There's the American kind. This is the American kind. And then this is, I want to say, the Canadian kind. And these suck. These are so much worse than M&Ms. These also kind of suck, but at least they're just intended to be sucky. These are formed out of chalk. The real Smarties with chalk? No, no, they don't. You've never had an M&M then. One of your favorite. What? What are you talking about? No, you're all nuts. You've had M&Ms, right? You don't know what you're talking about right now, chat. I've had M&Ms. I like both. Yeah, but which do you like better? If someone just put a bag of each one in front of you and you were craving chocolate, which would you take? You sell the game in tiers, a total of 4. Each tier is 50% more expensive than the last. I think you're onto something there. The whole thing about Smarties is you only eat a few. What? Because they're not good? Because if so, then fine. Treasure. What do we use for item doubling? Can we just, are there like 2 swords? Something maybe? Actually, let's search for 2. 2 coins. That's not going to work. I wanted to put very little time into this, but it is surprisingly hard to find an icon for 2 of something. Maybe this one, crossed axes. Or, yeah. Okay, that's good enough. Sure, let's go with that. Search for clash or block. Are you suggesting this based on the ones that show up? Or are you just saying other search terms? Because you can just link the icons if you want. And then auto battle. Let's search for battle. Although what would suggest auto? Maybe the repeat icon. Something cycle? Cycle? I think cycle. Yeah, let's use cycle. Yeah, this doesn't really indicate item doubling to me. I think this can serve for auto battle though. All right, nice. So those are our icons. Now, which ones don't we have? We have cycle. I don't think we'd have running shoe. Running shoe. No, we don't. Crossed axes. No. Relationship bounds. No. And open treasure chests. No, we wouldn't have any reason to use any of those. But we do have cycle. So let's go get these ones now. So temp icons. FF open treasure chest. There it is. Copy you to whatever. This thing, assets. Oh, icons. I'm looking for ability icons. I couldn't find it. Copy. Okay, that one goes there. Then relationship bounds. Relationship bounds. Copy that. Why'd that delete the whole thing? Oh my god. Do you know what? I don't care. Here's what we're going to do. We're just going to say dest equals that. And then CP this to dest. All right, running shoe is next. Running shoe. And last one's crossed axes. Okay, now we need to go open all of those. They should be very obvious because they have black backgrounds. There we go. And put them into here. And then delete this. Good. And I think that's it. I mean, we just manifest these. Yeah, no new authors. Yeah, I was looking at that while I was doing that. When I think of what are the games that people did not like at launch that they ended up liking, it's Cyberpunk and No Man's Sky. I don't know if there are any other games that took a massive turn from negative to positive, but those two did. I know there are a lot of games that stayed at negative. All right, so a search for cycle. I guess we just manifest icon ID for these things. All right, so who made these? We have cross axes Lork, Swift Shoes Delapuit, Battlefield 4. Maybe, yeah. I'm not too familiar with the Battlefield series. Let's see what it's at right now. It's a very positive. Yeah, I guess this is the problem that unless you followed a game, it'd be hard for you to know that it was negative at some point. All right, so this one's relationship. Does it know how to do this? Yes, it does. All right, cool. So these are our new icons that we need. We'll manifest these here, put some commas after them, then select everything and F9. Then realize that I should not have put none in alphabetical order. There we go. All right, then we just need all icon data to manifest these two. Oh, and then I guess we need, oh, we already had that one. All right. Icon ID equals That did something strange. Weird. Okay. Now let's get that and then make this, what is it, kebab case? Perfect. All right, then alphabetize these and we're good to go. So now we can just manifest this inside of player abilities, which I don't think we even have a way of doing this yet. Where do we do this? All ability data? Where's Swift Shoes? How about we just look at that? It's not called Swift Shoes. How do we do this? It's called player worker speed ability. Okay. Well, excuse me. All right, so icon ID for this is going to be the shoes one, running shoes. Wait, it's not called running shoes? I called it Swift Shoes? That's not what the name was, right? Am I just messing things up? Oh, yeah, drat. I put all the wrong icon IDs in here. Open treasure. No, that was the only one I did that was wrong. All right, what's that supposed to be called? Running shoe. Which is still in alphabetical order. That's kind of nice. Swift shoes is running shoe. And then worker speed ability needs running shoe. Good. All right, so that one's done. Let's get all the other player abilities. Just close all these tabs. Good. So shiny loot icon ID is something about treasure. Open treasure, yeah. All right, good. Let's copy paste this. All right, item doubling we said was the crossed axes. Player cloning was relationship bounds. And auto battle was the cycle one. Was it not called cycle? Repeat? What? Did I not use cycle? Oh, I think I got rid of it for something. Oh, darn it. Why was I using that? And then I stopped it. Reactive healing, maybe? No, something like that. I don't know. I gotta go manifest it again though. I remember copying it and I thought it was still there, but it's clearly not. So we need cycle again. Icon ID. And it's by Lork. Yeah, it's by Lork. Cycle Lork. All right, so player auto battle is going to use that. And all icon data is going to use that. Oh, which means I need to delete the background now. There. Okay, cool. What did I miss in chat? Just remember the atrocious amount of bugs in Battlefield 4. Yeah, maybe it didn't result in such negative reviews. Is item doubling a spell or something that just happens in the background? It just happens in the background, yeah. Guarded negatively. I've been avoiding it as a result. Is it made by Bethesda? Starfield. Yeah, Bethesda. I feel like Bethesda is known for these large games and also for having bugs that never get fixed. And I've played Skyrim. I don't know how many bugs I ran into. I remember very little of playing Skyrim, even though I probably played for like 50 hours. And I don't remember having a lot of fun, but I don't think that's a reflection on the game. Hey, Broken Crown. Oh, the dictionary is no longer alphabetized. Did I mess up? I'm just going to run. I'm not even going to try to find what the error is. Yeah, I'm just going to do this. Because I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing right now. Weird. I wonder what I did. All right, let's try it. We should see only 4 changed lines and not a whole bunch of changed lines, which means that we added them in the right spot. All right, so all we did is this. We made it so that these have icons, and they don't work. They don't work because I never launched Godot. There we go. And now just that one's not working. Swift shoes. What's wrong with Swift shoes? Running shoe. You are used here. Oh, for the wrong name. Running shoe. I think that was AI. I'm blaming AI. I haven't played Fallout, but I'll forever have that Tunnel Snake song stuck in my head. Yeah, it's just one of those like very cheesy things. All right, there we go. So auto battling looks good. Shiny loot looks good. Well, it kind of looks good. It's got jagged edges. Item doubling, swift shoes, and cloning. Why does this look bad? I'm not even sure how to check why it looks bad. It's open treasure chest. If we open this in GIMP, we'll see. I mean, it looks smooth there. I know it's getting rasterized when it gets imported into Godot, but it should still look okay. And we set the icons texture filter in skill button, and it is set to, well, it's set to inherit. Maybe that's a problem. Maybe it should be linear. It would look fine. Let's try that. I don't think I've seen that, Thels. Do I want to see that? Also, I don't think this looks any better, does it? Why can't I zoom in at a level I could zoom in before? What's going on? What's the shortcut to have this zoom in further? I do not know. Oh, there we go. Well, I don't think it's a filter problem. Maybe it's just the resolution this is rendering at. I don't know. Let's make a new scene and just drag that over there. This should not have been difficult. Yeah, I see what's happening. So it's that's causing this, and no amount of changing the texture is going to actually help with this. Oh well. Looks squashed on the y-axis. Is it? I don't know. It should have a perfect square that fits around this. Is there a way to make a... Yep, there it is. No, I don't think it's squashed. Because you can see I selected like 1 pixel too much on the left, and I'm cutting off maybe 1 pixel on the top here. Oh, wait, there we go. Yeah, I think it's a perfect square. I said X? Oh, yeah. Well, I misread, but still, I think it's a perfect square. Unless it wasn't a square to begin with, which would not make any sense. Have it open in GIMP, I suppose. Yeah, I think it's fine. I played shapes? No, I don't think so. Have an SVG with a smaller viewport. Godot will not respect the right size. Well, I think we're going to replace all the icons anyway, so I'll just not do anything right now. All right, let's go review the changes. Looks good, looks good, looks good. Yeah, all pretty obvious stuff. And we only changed 5 lines here, which is good, and only 5 lines there. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so manifest icons for player abilities. All right, so that's done. Okay, next up, Unknown said, minor nitpick, hover for more information is a general tip, but it doesn't suggest to hover over itself, right? Maybe it should be clear that it's a tip. Changes in skills only take effect in future battles. Maybe it's just obvious you hover over these. Why did I have this here? I guess because it used to be just text. I think that's the problem. Now they're icons. I think it's probably obvious that you hover for information. Are replacing the current icons with a paid pack. I want to wait for Quickie Joe to be able to chime in on this because I'm not very good at matching assets. And by the way, how do you just go to itch.io and not have it go to that link? No matter what I type, it goes from like, look, I typed this, I press escape. So it's just got the URL typed in. I press enter. Okay, well there, it went to the right thing, but I'm pretty sure it did exactly that. It did not work that way just before. All right, now we go to icons. And yeah, I know there were some different ones linked in the game team chat, which maybe I should pull one of those up. I don't want to remove that from history. I want to find Skeleseller. All right, this is the one that Kevin linked. And generally, I do think this looks pretty good. Contains 48 icons, 150 icons on Archive 2. Another 150 for... Wait, what? Oh, if you pay, I see. Yeah, although this is only 198 icons, we might need different ones. And we might just see some in this list, like the clover that we just never have a use for example. That's why I kind of want to find a pack that has a ton of them. And then we can figure out which ones we want to just omit completely. The stuff like this, it has items as well. And I don't know if we need the items. Should match a majority of cases, so I think we should check some out. Yeah, but we can't mix and match some packs. There was an example here somewhere, or it was just like super detailed compared to the other ones. These gems remind me of Realm of the Mad God. Actually, a lot of this stuff reminds me of Realm of the Mad God. I bet they had the Realm of the Mad God pack open when they looked at that. Yeah, let's just use skills like a blue bird skill and maybe like a phone in a bubble skill. I think our fantasy adventure should have those. I feel like the players would most likely hover over the text itself, and upon seeing that nothing happens, try to hover over the icons. However, just mentioning that you should hover skills specifically would remove this potential confusion. I think players would probably figure this out, but I'm not sure. Hey, Wing Out. But I'm not sure. I haven't really seen any confusion to begin with. And I don't really like that there's so much text up here, but part of it has to do with the sort of UI hierarchy of not having set health up with an icon or something like that. But yeah, I think I want to delete that, hover for information. So let's go hover for information. I meant to press enter. All right, so skills. It'll just be skills : then we have changes in skills only take effect in future battles, and then in skill points, earn skill points by leveling up adventurers. Okay, there's too much information here. There are 3 different tooltips. I want to consolidate this as much as possible. Would it be possible to simplify the text for each ability? For these abilities? Because if so, I think there's only so much we can do. But if you're talking about something else, maybe we could. But I think a lot of skills, you want there to be some tiny bit of flavor inside of the skill as well. So I think just making it say like single target attack, 5 damage, and buff plus 5 power. I'm not sure that would be desirable. All right, so your current rank, you increase an adventurer's rank by spending money, not by battling. Stats automatically go up as your rank increases, and we could say like you gain 1 skill point with each rank. With each rank. And then this maybe in skill points, we can say what this currently says. Changes in skills only take effect in future battles. Changes in skills only take effect in future battles. Yeah. And we'll put that where we currently have this. Earns skill points by leveling up adventurers. And then this can be deleted entirely. Skill tree, where is it? I don't remember which one of these says it. Skills. Skills says it. This one. Yes, delete you. Health, power, fortitude, abilities in one row with smaller icons. The stats would have the icon with a value. Abilities can be padded right in just the icon. Yeah, I could definitely see having icons for these things. And when you hover over them anyway, it would tell you what they do. So I don't think there's much of an issue there. Although if we're going to do that, let's say we have power be whatever, a fist or a sword or something like that, then anything like this that says increase your power bonus, maybe it should put the icon directly there in the text. And then we run into a different problem where we have a different text filter than we have an icon filter, and we need a custom like rich text label with different filters for icons. That's going to be a mess. Although we don't have to do that. But yeah, for now, this is at least a little bit cleaner. Yeah, I do want to separate this a tiny bit. So let's add another H separator and lower this down to, I don't like how this happens. There. Yeah, and then just make this one invisible. New style box flat. Alpha set to nothing. That didn't take effect. Couldn't have a window to the side of the more room. Yeah, I think so. I do think that being able to hover over these and then just put points in. So one of the changes I made earlier is you can click the icon to put points in. And I think that way it's pretty nice because then the tooltip updates immediately telling you like, here's what you just got. And I think a lot of people are going to do this rather than try to click these buttons. What happened to my separator? Did I put it in the wrong spot? I think I did. Where'd it go? Yeah, here it is. I wanted this further down. Maybe I wanted multiple of these. I don't even know what I want anymore. Does it even look better? I don't think so. I think I should never be allowed to make UIs. I think it looks slightly better. Remember, debug grant points won't show up for players. It's just for me to be able to give myself points. Could have the label and values be stacked vertically as opposed to horizontally. Labels and values stacked vertically. I see. So you're saying put the buttons, like maybe the minus is on bottom and the plus is on top and the values in the middle. It could be done. The thing is, we don't need a lot of vertical space. I guess we also don't need a lot of horizontal space. The trees really can fit in this little rectangle right now. Put the adventure selection as a column on the left. Make this menu less tall. Oh, referring to these. Oh yeah, I think we'll free up some space by eventually just using icons. But I don't know what icons we'd use yet, so I haven't done anything about that yet. Anyway, this is good for now. I think I'm just going to leave this for now. What did I even just do? Just add space, fix the tooltips. Is that the task I actually had? Ah, yes. Okay. It was. Thanks to unknown. So we're going to say clean up skill tree slightly. Change tooltips, added some horizontal, or added some separators. And removed a bit of text. All right, cool. This I'm gonna save. I don't know if we need to do anything there. Use settings gear as an SVG rather than a PNG. This is very simple. We have the settings cog. What's it called? Oh, it's not inability icons. It's right there. cog.png, cog.svg. Yeah, so in the end battle screen, we have that cog. And if we change this to use the SVG, it should look a little bit clearer, I hope. Yep, that's pretty clear. Okay, what size was that? Because I want it to be the same size it was. 32 by 32. Settings button. This is a button and it's set its icon. And we have no way of capping its icon size. I mean, as far as I know, no. So I think we have to make this a texture rect instead. Expand icon. Oh, interesting. Now what, we set this to 32 by 32? No, we can't do that. We do it here though. Okay, what's that look like? Common dashboard type UI approach. Yeah, I think we've got to spend some time just working on UI. And right now I'm just trying to get things kind of good enough. What did I even just do? What did I change? I don't even remember what I'm doing. Oh yeah, the end battle. Oof. Yeah, cool. I wonder if that looks any better or worse than what we used to have. Let's take a picture. So this is the after picture. After. There. Now let's zoom out to 100%. Oh, that is zoomed out to 100%. That can't be right. Is it because I zoomed in on the game? Why does that look so big? Why does that look so big? What is going on? Because of the retina display? Because it's 2x? That's probably it. Oh, whatever. I guess we could just zoom out to 50% and then it would look like what it does on the screen. Yeah. All right, so this is the after picture. Now I want the before picture. So I've got to go undo the change I just made. I guess we could just stash this. Get stash. Did I change the texture filter? I did not, but it should have already been set from whatever it was before. I think I had changed it originally, if that's what you're asking. All right, so here's the before picture. I guess we could write the text directly in here, before. And now let's paste that in. All right, and all we're trying to compare here is the gear. Does the gear look better or worse or the same? It's smaller slightly, because I guess it could have resized up to 40 by 40. Oh, maybe that's why it looked bad. I mean, I think it looks fine now. Yeah, I think it's fine now. When you hover over it, it's got a different style. I guess we could technically expand this a little bit. It's got 40 by 40. There's icon size. Expand is off, but the minimum size doesn't exist. How is that possible? This doesn't seem to have an effect at all. 50 by 50. It does, it's just not changing anything. It's still really tiny. I guess expand needs to be on, but then it thinks that the minimum size is 512 by 512, right? 40 by 40. Oh no, that does work. Huh, interesting. So if I revert those and it goes to nothing. I don't know. I don't know what's going to look best. But I think we've already spent enough time looking at this, so we probably just end it here. And let's open that up. Oh, it was already open. Maybe that took effect immediately. In fact, we could take a look if we just change this directly here. Set this to be 80 by 80, let's say. Does that make it bigger in the game too? Yes, it does. So we already know that we're looking at the changes. So at 32 by 32, it's too small, right? It's not bad. And at 40 by 40, I think this is at least what it used to look like. So this is, oh no, God, what am I doing? I didn't stash pop. That's why this changed. Oh God, I knew something was wrong. There we go. There. We're good. We're good. Whatever. It looks good. We're just calling it. We're saying that that's fine. Yeah. It's crisp. Great. Now the other part of this change was to delete the PNG. So we want that gone and that gone. Replace cog.png with cog.svg. Kevin had added it for the title screen. I'd already had a task to replace it. I think it's good. All right, any other thing? Did I write cog here or settings or something? Or I guess just PNG. Nope. And SVG. Nope. Okay, cool. Consider renaming skill tree to adventurer's pain or something like that. However, lots of variables need to be updated. This is a minor cleanup thing for later. I'm not doing this now. All right, rename all ability data to all abilities. That sounds like a valuable change. All abilities. Yeah. All abilities. Reveal and delete. Hey, Ethos. I do use Obsidian. It's open on my computer right now. I just also use Google Docs. All right, so we got to go delete this one and then rename this, which is already done. Yeah. All right, and then the code should just build. I shouldn't need to do anything else. All I wanted to do is rename the file. What game engine would you recommend for someone who wants to get into game development? In general, whatever you think meets your needs. So if you want to make like a 3D game with really, really good graphics, I'd probably say go for Unreal. If you want to make a 3D game and you don't necessarily care about the graphics, I'd say probably Unreal or Unity. If you want to make a 2D game, there are a lot of options out there. If you're trying to do something for the web, Phaser seems good. Trying to do something for just desktop or mobile, Unity, Godot, Game Maker, those sorts of things. Never had the opportunity to have an original thought in my entire life. Incredible. Well, one of the things you got to imagine is that if you find someone who's streaming online and they've been streaming for long enough, they're probably going to see the same sorts of questions, which is why I have so many commands in chat. The entire command database is up to 448. And some of them are just for fun, but a lot of them are things like, hey, what programs are you using for something? Or what's your computer specs? Or a whole bunch of other things that people ask all the time. The reason, by the way, Reuter, that I linked in this learn is because this is my blog post I made on if you want to learn programming. And the TLDR of this whole thing is it doesn't really matter what you learn. Because if you're going to learn how to program, then you're probably going to learn more than one language. And it doesn't really matter which one was your first language, except to keep you motivated. So if you're motivated, then it doesn't matter which game engine you learn first, because none of them are going to be like, well, I'm committing for 15 years to learning this thing. It's like, yeah, you're committing for some number of weeks or months. And I'm not saying that it can be hard to switch. There's a lot of depth in some of these engines. Like Unreal especially has quite a lot of depth in their physics, their networking. And if you spend all the time learning that and then have to learn the quirks of another system, like, yes, there is an opportunity cost there. Although probably learning anything new is going to help you learn everything new. So it's not so bad. This did build. I'm assuming the game just works. Let's start up some battles here. Create instance. Are they using spells and stuff? Is this using lightning zaps? Yeah. Yeah, looks like it's working. First draft is done. Cool, cool, cool. I guess I'd have to listen to the MP3 because I wouldn't have the same VSTs as you, and I'm guessing you use some paid ones. All right, this touched pretty much every single file in the game. Every ability at least. Yeah. So the question we really need to ask is, was this worth it? Because time-wise, this took about 10 seconds. Well, let's look at all abilities and see what it represents. And also, doesn't everything follow the all data format? It does. It's just that this doesn't hold ability data, it holds abilities. And that's why I don't think it should have data in the name. And I think all the other data classes hold data objects. This one holds... Actually, this one just holds strings. Should be called all icons. Maybe we should just call it all ability data. I don't know. I'll export it to you at some point. Okay, sounds good. Yeah. Also, $1 million VSTs. I know you put a kappa there, but some VSTs can get pretty expensive. And if you have enough different packs of VSTs, then you could have spent probably, thousands of dollars pretty easily. I imagine most like professional audio engineers have setups that are several $1,000s at least. Use a mallet library for Contact, which is priced at $200. Yeah. Contact itself is like 500 something dollars, right? It's like 800 for the complete version at this point. Rename all ability data, all abilities. The class doesn't store ability data anymore. Well, I don't even know when it did. Did it? All ability data. When in its history, if we go back to like here, was this actually saving ability data? It was, yes. So when did it stop doing that? Who knows? But I guess we could probably look at this and find out. Refactor dictionary validation, drastically revamp ability tooltips. Was it here? Nope, still tracked it here. So where's the dictionary validation code? Type was that summons, revamp quests. What? When did I change this? Wasn't there. Add summons maybe here? I know I could just have bisected this. It wasn't there either. Was it when I added item doubling? When did I do this? Oh my god, I really have no idea. Maybe it was this one. Consolidate ability specification. It must have been this. Who would have thought I'd come up with descriptive enough names for things? Yes, it was this. Okay, so I'll just reference the commit in here. The class hasn't stored ability data instances since this, but I only got around to renaming it. All right. How many commits are in the repo at this point? Well, 825, but that's sort of unfair because for PRs, I squash them, but I work directly in main, so all of my commits count, but not all the PRs. Also got this library for a discount. That's just, yeah, 2 in the whole song. Yep. Hey, Minaniki. When you start creation of a new game, how do you start? Trying to create a game, but I've started creating the items, the powers. It's absolutely huge, the amount of things I have to create before I even see anything on screen. So I'll give you a brief overview, but this can be a pretty deep topic. So the very first thing I do now is actually a design document. And I want to just figure out, like, do I have enough direction to start coding something? Does the game sound fun? Have I answered all of the upfront questions that I have? Or most, not even all. You can't answer all of them. It's practically impossible from just the design document. Next, I think, is the prototype. So code super quickly and hackily and get something playable as soon as possible. And your major question is it fun? If yes, maybe like switch to main development. If no, iterate for a bit on the prototype. If still no after a while, maybe ditch the idea. So then next we get to what I'd call, I guess, main development here. And I'd say there's this big prioritization question at first of like, what will get us to an MVP of the game? You already sort of proved that it was fun, but now how do we get to that point with real code and maybe some real decisions in the game and not doing things as hackily and get to the point where we can release? And the way I've been pursuing this with Skeleseller has been what I've been calling the checkpoint system, which is really just alphas. And we've been spacing them about 1 to 2 months apart. And right now we've done checkpoint 1, 2, and 3. This was like May, this was September, and this was, I don't know, probably August or something, July. And each time I have a survey for feedback. And the main development basically works like this. Work toward next checkpoint, release the checkpoint, process the feedback, prioritize the checkpoint after, and repeat. So that's the general flow of how I'd work through a new game. And that's what we did for this. And it's been working well so far. And I think the checkpoint system was really, really important because that feedback lets us know if we're on track. And if I were to pull all this up, you'll just have to trust me because I'm not going to actually pull this up. But the survey feedback got consistently better over the course of the 3 checkpoints. It's like, yes, we are making more of a game each time. It's not, characters walking all over the place, UI looking like total development UI. It's getting better. Yeah, I don't think probably most people do create branches when they're working sort of like this, but I think it's a little weird when, I mean, at this point now we do have incoming PRs, and I'm like, that's not for me. I do what I want. Yeah, except for in this case, we're not extrapolating from a very tiny sample size. Maybe I've started over engineering the game before I've even tested if it would be fun. Yes, probably, Miyoniki. Yeah, if you're saying like, oh, I have tons of abilities and skills and whatever else, there's a picture online about MVP in terms of a bike. Is it this? Yeah. This, I think, is a really good image to sort of internalize, and it's very easy to understand. So you don't build a car by building a tire and then, eventually ending up with a car. You build something that at each step it's usable. And I think that's how the game should work too. When you start out, instead of having 10 abilities, just think, what is the smallest amount that will let the character get a feel for the game? And it might be 10. Maybe they're all super distinct or something. It probably isn't 10. And just take any game that exists out there. I keep using Diablo 2 as an example, and I'm going to continue to use it. So Diablo 2 has, 7 characters? Although I guess it launched with 5. You don't need 5 characters to know if the game's going to be fun. Just pick one. And then instead of all the skills you have, pick, I don't know, 2 or 3 of them. Because probably you need some skills you need to change between, because that's pretty core to the game. Maybe you have some different weapons or something. So you do something like, I don't know, those 4 skills. You code those. Never seen that image. Yeah, I like that a lot. Hey, Men and Hey, Exio. Summer car vibes, basically both of them. Build a car, have other vehicles at the same time. Yeah. Yeah, and that way, the reason why you do a lot of this is because it's very, very hard to tell on paper if a game is going to be fun. And if you described a game that is successful, like you described Minecraft on paper and just showed it to someone who's not a gamer and said, do you think this would sell for billions of dollars? they'd almost certainly say no to every single game you bring to them. It just doesn't. There's so much that's unknown and so much that comes down to how you present something and how you execute it. So yeah, if you were to describe any idle game on paper, well, the player's not really playing. They're just kind of sitting there and numbers are going up. You'd be like, well, that sounds stupid. And yet there are millions of dollars in idle games. Like, just, yeah. I program on Scratch. Is that bad? That's not bad. Yeah, I think it's totally fine. I don't like the hasty development. In some cases, it makes you do double the work on the same code. Yes, but in some cases, you find out that the idea you're working on is not worth pursuing. Like with Idle Ascendance, we pretty much trashed almost all of it, right? Like we've got a couple of skills and a couple of ideas, but in general, it's like the game wouldn't have been fun, I think. Although who knows, maybe if we developed it more, it might have been. Yeah. Okay, so this has been done. This next one is such a simple thing to do, and I was just using the wrong tags in code. So all we need to do is change this to, what am I doing? I need to change this to this. Good. And then replace the closing tag with this. Good. And that's that. That's all we needed to do. And it's the same number of characters, so there's no way we could have had to reformat this. And now this should actually look like code. Yeah. Stealing it forever now. Yeah, it's a really nice image. Or unless you're talking about Pelsies, which is also a nice image, I guess. But a different idea. But the MVP one, yeah. I think this is great. I'll paste this in chat. So yeah, Mioniki, I don't know what kind of game you're making, but like I said, try to think of it in terms of if you were to just put this in front of someone, what's the minimum possible they'd be able to determine if it's good? And maybe think about it in terms of other games, like Super Mario Brothers. Probably have like one level and maybe an enemy or two. But the basic platforming, it's like, okay, that's core to the game. You would need that. You don't need different characters. You don't need different powers, power-ups, anything. And then as you build on it, it's like, yes, okay, what's now the most impactful thing? Probably a power-up, probably another enemy or two, probably different kinds of platforms. Fix stock comments. I thought C was the right tag. All right, changes in skills. We already did this. Consider allowing the skill button's icon to be used. We did that. Inspiration has a hard-coded reference to Fireball. God, I love tasks like this. They're so easy to do. Makes me feel like I'm just whizzing through all this stuff. Yeah, casting Fireball. So string Fireball name. Should know exactly how to do this. Good. And we're done. See how easy? Yeah, the reason we have to do it this way is because of the localization requirements. We can't assume it's going to be called Fireball in every language. Oh, neat. The debug menu actually shows up on top of this. That's pretty good. So Mage now has this. Casting Fireball. Yep, still looks the same. Stop hard coding the word Fireball. And mark the skill tree task done. By doing quests from each item type shop. The way I see it is Skeleseller is essentially an economy game. You're getting all these items and you're selling them. But then what does money do? The problem is I just don't have an answer for this. It's like, okay, you build the shops. That costs money. You train adventurers. And that's it right now, right? Yeah. And people are asking like, hey, could this be experience points? And now you're suggesting, could this be a quest? And it's not like it's a problem. I think it could totally work that way. It's just at that point, like, why are you even selling items? Hats and pets. Hats and pets. Trying to create a roguelike game with the lore of a tabletop RPG. Trying to create all classes, all skills, all items. Yeah. So I highly recommend just trimming it down, and probably, you know, you'll learn a whole lot even just doing that, and you'll be focusing on something that won't probably be wasted work. And if the game ends up being good and you like it, then you can always add in the data afterward. No, you can keep sharing tells. That's totally fine. Spend the money buying funny things for the house. But I think if you're only okay, is there any game out there where they have one in-game currency and nothing functional to do with that currency? Is that, can anyone think of a game like that? Because I think you'd be hard pressed to find a game like that. Is Habba Hotel, is that like just a social game? Virtual world, avatar, chat, and pixel art. Okay, this is a little different because there is no function presumably to any part of the game, right? Like there's no battling, there's no like, I don't know. I think the whole game is just social. Yeah, yeah, okay. So I guess we could put Habba Hotel there. But anything else? Is there any game you can think of that's only got one currency and you're just buying hats and stuff? Because every game I can think of that has one currency, there's something functional with that currency that you want to buy, and you can choose to buy cosmetic things. While making access to some instances cost money. To fight some boss instances, it may give you cool items. You got to put toward 20,000 gold for travel expenses. Yeah, but the issue there is there's got to be a reason to fight that boss. So it's got to be like winning has to give you 30K if the cost is going to be 25K or something. Otherwise, you're spending money, you'll do it once and you'll never do it again. So it's sort of like spending money to just kind of get to the next step of the game. Animal Crossing New Horizons. No, but you could buy crafting materials or something, right? For your gear, and your gear could get better, and your town actually had functional stuff that you had to spend bells on. You could upgrade your house. Like there were a lot of functions you could spend bells on. Club Penguin. Yeah, I think what we're gonna find out if we were to list games like this is it's gonna be the like purely social simulator type games. Like maybe VR chat has a currency. I don't actually know. I've never played it. Where you could change your avatar or something, and it's like, yeah, okay, these are games that have no function to begin with. I guess sort of social experiences. Does Valorant not have another currency? I'm talking about games with only one kind of currency. I don't know what riot points are. Super Mario Odyssey? No, you could buy moons in that game. There were moons you could buy. And that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of these where you had a choice of things you could purchase. But rarely is it that there was no function to any of those things. So anyway, my whole point is, and again, there could be a game like this. Crazy Taxi I haven't played, so I can't tell you anything about that. Crazy Taxi currency. What do you spend money on? There's no way there was no function for this, right? You couldn't upgrade your car or anything? It was just for score? Okay. And there was no other currency in the game? It was an arcade game? Okay. Okay, I guess. I was going to say actually Super Mario Bros., but even Super Mario Bros. Had coins, and the coins could turn into one-ups. So even that was mostly just for score. So yeah, maybe we have to amend what we said. Calling a score currency, but it's, yeah, it's pretty much just a score at that point. Yeah, I guess the point is not a currency. Right. Dells. Yeah, if you can't spend it even on cosmetic items, then it's not a currency because you're not spending it. Perhaps rent it out instead of buying it outright. If you want them forever, you can buy them out for a larger amount. Well, so okay, going back to the thing, we need a money sink, and the renting versus buying is like a temporary money sink. We still need there to be something. And by the way, there isn't one in the game right now. All we have is training and building. And I guess the idea is that when you're about to get to the end of the game, then I don't know, then you run out of things to spend money on. But I think for this game to work, there still needs to be something you spend money on, and we just don't have it. And I know there are a lot of ideas, and I'm not saying the ideas can't work. We could have something like, yes, unlocking instances, unlocking Oh, I guess you hire adventurers too. I forgot about that. But unlocking adventurers, maybe like renting something, maybe I don't know. There's lots of ideas you can come up with, right? Buy items for enchants, maybe. Buy some materials, but we need that stuff. And what was the context of all of this conversation? Probably the next thing on my to-do list. No, I don't know. What about buildings that aren't stores? Like you can build a gym and upgrade it and raise your adventure stats. Yeah, this is another way of framing what is currently already the case in the game. Like we have training, and we could just have this be at a building instead of you clicking a button here. But this raises your stats and gives you a skill point. So it's the same general idea. But this is one of the money sinks that's in the game right now. Sorry, I mean post-battle healing and revives. Okay, I thought you were kidding, which is why I didn't respond to your message, because I thought you were saying like the cleric can't heal unless you spend money. The only problem with them costing money is that they would need to cost time if you didn't have the money, because otherwise you might end up with no way to make money. Like let's say you send your rogue into a level 2 battle, they die, you have no way to play the game anymore. So we'd have to change it to a system like regeneration right now takes about 15 seconds to get from 0% to 100%. So we'd have to make it take like 45 seconds and then pay to increase the healing amount. Lean into the senselessness of it. We're always paying down an unreachably enormous debt. I guess it's sort of just a score system at that point, right? Because this is how Animal Crossing typically starts out each game, if I'm not mistaken. Animal Crossing is like, hey, you owe us whatever, $500,000, and then you start earning money, and it's like, here's $50, here's $100. They're called bells, but still, the idea kind of stands, which is, hey, here's a ludicrous debt, and you slowly are paying it off. Although once you've paid it off, you get the ability to take on a loan for something else, and you have to pay that off. So even that isn't just a score system. Let your adventurers run to the portal faster. Unlock Skelebats. You play for long enough, you get 5 of them or something. 4th Enchanter Gem. Well, I think upgrades are important. And I think some of them are going to be unlocked via quests instead of purchases. And kind of one of the things I'm thinking about is, yeah, what if the buildings did just cost a ridiculous amount of money? Like the Enchanter's Den is 5,000 or 10,000 gold. And you don't have enough at first, and you're wondering, what does this even mean? Disenchant items. Like, I want to do that. And when you finally have enough money to get it, then it's a sense of discovery. It's to completion. This is not an infinite game. And I don't think it should become an infinite game. I want the number of like hours that you're sort of having fun playing this to be about 5 to 10. Maybe it's a little longer, but I don't want it to be like, oh, I'm leaving the game open for a week. Yeah, have I played Stick Ranger? I don't think so. I'll look that up. No, I've never played that. Is this an idle game? It looks like an idle game. Action RPG. No, it's not an idle game. Okay. It's a mostly idle game? Oh, I would not put action RPG and idle game in the same sentence, I guess. Have we done everything with skills? Figure out how you want this to work. We're done with that. You got prerequisites. Should you get stats? How many skill points? This is really a testament to that we've been making progress, because I remember when we started this and I'm like, I don't have answers to any of these questions. And now we've developed a whole system. We know how many skill points you should get. We know what the max level is. We've developed all the skill points and skill trees and coded them all. And yeah, and that was like a week and a half ago that we had these questions. So that wasn't too bad. Make the skill tree, take the focus. We did that. Design the skills, code the skills. Yep, we are done. Done, 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 done. Cool. I mean, I guess we can do this one next. Might as well, right? Yeah. All right, I'll take this on. Mark it as being in progress. If it's a completion, I think different buildings with different buffs with upgrade paths and maybe their own skill trees would be cool. The thing, okay, so I have some sort of overarching philosophies of the game, and I think one of them is you shouldn't be permanently stuck in a particular track for anything. So like adventurer skills, you can respec. Player skills, you can respec. So buildings, you need some equivalent of respecializing. And part of the reason for this is I don't care about replayability. I want the game to just be fun the first time. And I don't want the game to punish you for not having like planned the optimal build. Because a lot of times you don't know what is optimal until you've tried it. And once you've tried it, in some games it's too late. You can't switch that. Love to be able to track all the items sold over time. Yeah. That's a plan. Yep. But Xskel, I think that's a bit of a stretch. So I don't think we can put that in the game. But yeah, what I was thinking is your guild would have a signpost or something, and it'd probably be something you unlock. So maybe it costs 1,000, and when you unlock it, it tells you here's how many of everything you bought. All right, so we got to go change every single skill in the game. Not really, we only have to change some. But yeah, this works here. Yeah. Xskel would totally work. Do you think it'd be obvious players? I think what we need to do is we need to sort of copy the Excel interface a little bit. And in the UI that we show. So we'd have to show you a spreadsheet and then you'd be like, oh, I get it now. Otherwise, I think it would be unclear. I do think it'd be cool to have a cutesy little Excel spreadsheet in the game. You know, it'd be especially funny is we found some open source C# spreadsheet software. That's really hard to say. Open source C# spreadsheet software that we just took directly and put it into the game. And you're like, oh my God, they coded Excel in this game. You can do formulas and stuff for no reason. All right, stealth is the next one we got to go work on. All right, so how are we doing this? This should change Cloak of Shadows. In stealth, upgrades our duration of this. So where does the duration show? Here. Base duration. All right, so we got to do this. This is going to be stealth level and stealth or duration per stealth level, I guess. I guess we already have a name for that, so I don't think we need that. And then the ID needs to be ability ID dot stealth. And then base duration is going to be base duration plus this times duration, something, that one. Yeah. Cool to show after beating the game. I think we should do it before you beat the game because I think it'd be interesting. And I think we have this somewhere and as a, where is it? There's add metrics, but I don't think this is for the player. Yeah, there's some other thing we did. We wrote this for surface game stats. Here it is. Issue 125. So the guild should have a signpost near it with stats about practically everything, number of items sold. Yeah, and I think it should say specific counts of each item sold. 4 green potions, 7 dragon swords. Yeah. Scroll down. Whoop. Delete that. See next comment for more ideas. I even would have thought, I'm guessing that's me, yeah. Do you want the gold to spend idly as well? No, I don't think so. Because then I think you have to, well, if you're earning gold idly, then maybe. but it depends on how you're spending it. So like if it costs money to enter an instance, then it means you might get to a point where your whole machine stops working and you stop earning money because you can't afford the cost of the next one. Although the likelihood of that happening is probably pretty low. OSS C# version of Apache POI. Never heard of this. What was POI? What does this stand for? Why did none of the results have what this stands for on it? Is it not an acronym? What does it stand for? For obfuscation implementation. What? Is that true? There's no way that's true, right? It was originally an acronym for that, yeah, referring humorously to the fact that the file format seemed to be deliberately obfuscated. Well, no wonder they're not putting that right at the front of their marketing. When was this made? Usually the history is right here, but they only talk about the last version. Version history, here we go. 2001, wow. Coming up on 23 years. Okay, so we modified stealth. Now we need precision. Yeehaw. This is at least very easy to do. So precision level, ability, id.precision. Oh, actually, if we're doing it this way, I guess we should get the ability component. AC get, then just do get level of ability. There we go. Power per level, dodge bonus per level. Okay, so this is power percent bonus plus precision level times power per level. And then dodge plus precision level times dodge per level. That's not right. There. All right, one skill should be totally done. Passive gold spend could be embezzlement, but for what? Like, what are you embezzling the money for? Why would a player want that? Okay, so here's what we just did. Cloak of Shadows used to have a static tooltip that literally always said the text you see right now. Cooldown 5 seconds, 20% power, 5% dodge, 3 seconds. So now when you click this, you get an extra 2 seconds. So this goes from 3 to 5. Click it again, it goes from 5 to 7. So that's correct. And then this right here can increase the power and dodge. So now this says increase your power by 70%, your chance to dodge attacks by 25% for 7 seconds. And since it can stack, that means you could get it twice. So it could go to 140% and 50%. Although the tooltip doesn't need to say that. Hey, Thomas. Have nice dinners and build hot tubs. Maybe this whole thing is just to be able to buy a snake pet. People are like, why do I want a snake pet? And I'm like, it's an inside joke. I'm like, okay, I want that then. All right, so we're done with 2 of these. Now we got to go keep working on the rest of these. I don't want to Google what would my skeleton be embezzling. No, not what would they be embezzling. Why are they embezzling? It's fatal strikes level. Ability ID dot fatal strikes. All right, so percent life plus fatal strikes level times fatal strikes dot. It doesn't even exist. Are you kidding me? Ah, it's in here. Do they get paternity pay? There is no paternity in the game. Is there any risk element to the game? You bribe someone to get access to an area and maybe you make enough? No, I don't think so. I'm not opposed to a risk exactly being in the game, but I'm not sure how we would surface it. I want to make sure it makes sense and that it's fun. Because I think, I've been watching, I mentioned this the other day, but I've been watching this channel that talks about a lot of old games. I played a lot of these old games and I like them, but I don't think a lot of them have aged well. Star Tropics has this system where you find a signpost in the game, and it's basically a very tiny gambling game. And it can give you, I'm going to make up some numbers here, like -1 life all the way up to +2 lives. And these are extra lives. So it could actually take a life away from you. Basically, the signpost is essentially killing you. And it's just like, why not just make this positive? Why not just make it like 1 to 3? And when you get lucky, yeah, you get 3. Great. Anyway, that's kind of how I feel about the risks in some of these games. If it were purely like a gambling mechanic, you spend 5 gold and maybe you get 10 gold and maybe you get 0. I don't think that's a fun way of doing it. Is the Ultra Lord? What if the shops sell special equipment? You mean there are shops that sell to you, the player? Because yeah, okay. Yeah, that could be a thing. I think that's somewhat reasonable. I think the only issue there is then you have right now the only thing to use items for that you'd want to buy is for enchanting. I guess unless you find something that sells for a lot, maybe. But I'm not sure if that would help a lot. But yeah, enchanting and selling are the main uses of items. So I guess you'd be buying them for enchanting. And the only issue is that battling gives you like, I don't know, 30 items per minute, let's say. And buying would give you 1 item per click. And is it worthwhile to buy something if you're already going to get tons and tons of items anyway? And there could be a reason. Maybe you say that the buff is like 50% better than found items. In which case, then are you sort of invalidating the battling system to find items? Are they like super rare things? What about mandatory contribution to your adventurer's pensions and healthcare expenses as a money sink? This is a tax system essentially. Like, hey, just by having the adventurer, you have a tax. And I think some people have sort of recommended that there's a system like this in the game. And I think there's a way that you could make this work where it might make sense. Maybe you have a pool of adventurers and you can only afford so many. And I think that could be interesting. And we could say something like, if the pool is of size less than or equal to 3, then it's just free. And maybe your 4th adventurer and 5th adventurer, maybe they cost whatever, like 10 gold per minute. And maybe your 6th and 7th start costing 50 gold per minute or something. I don't think this feels good though. I think there's a way to make this, like, frame this as a positive maybe, because the system I remember that did this is Warcraft 3. They started having I think they might have even called it a tax, but they had a tax on gold earnings based on army size. I think they called it upkeep. I don't fully remember. And it felt bad. It was like, oh, I don't want to go above a certain army size because then I'm going to start losing money. And I think it'd be, sometimes this stuff is better framed as a positive. And in this case, it would effectively be the same if you were like, well, you just get money if you're below a certain amount. It's like, well, it's the same as losing money if you're above a certain amount. So I'm not sure. I got to put some more thought into that. But yeah, I think unionizing our workers in a fantasy video game is a great idea. All right, so lightning zaps. So this is storm intensity. Storm intensity is how many bolts you summon. And we need to go get that. So lightning zaps. And numb bolts, numb extra bolts maybe. Maybe just numb bolts. Oh, cool. This actually does work. Oh, I want to call this total numb bolts. And I want to extract this out in its own thing. Storm intensity level. Should know how to do this. Yeah. Although if we're doing this, shouldn't we have a function that fetches this for us? Yeah, probably. But then doesn't storm intensity also use that? Private int get num bolts. Node entity. This is how you would do this, although I would probably simplify it down to just this. And then we call this here total num bolts equals this entity. Delete this and call the same thing over here. Num bolts. There we go. Now I guess technically we don't need this anymore either. We could just do abilities component dot get level for entity and just pass in the entity. There we go. What if you need wood to keep the portal's magic hearth running, and you can either buy wood or have workers go get it? Items expend X fuel, and adventurers entering expend 10X fuel. When the portal is dead, the items are lost, and adventurers can't leave or enter. Well, like I said, there's no escape condition for this. Like, you run out of fuel, you can't enter the portal, and you can't gain wood anymore, so you just, I guess there'd be a solar panel next to it, and you wait for the sun to charge it. But anyway, ignoring that, because that's a very easy problem to solve. So yeah, something like this is saying, hey, everything you do has a cost, which is sort of like a stamina system in that you have a currency that is used to do actions in the game, and you have a way of replenishing that currency. And I generally ask, is this fun? Is a stamina system fun? And I think that in general, a stamina system is a rate limiter, typically used for transactions, like microtransactions. The skeleton can always go get wood. Yeah, so do we need a rate limiter in the game? I don't think so. I'm not sure if a cost for this stuff makes sense. And I also think that the balance of this cost is really, really tough. Going back to my favorite game to provide examples for, Diablo 2 has a literal stamina system, which was the white bar in the game that probably many people just ignore after some time. And this was kind of stupid the way it was introduced. I think it's a bad system. But the way it worked is you had some amount of stamina. Let's say you had 100 stamina. And as you run, you use stamina. When you run out, you're forced to walk. And you increase stamina via items and the vitality stat. So at the end of the game, stamina might as well not exist. You hit this inflection point where it just has no impact on your character anymore. And I think it's bad because it's punishing you at the beginning of the game for pretty much no reason. And actually walking is functionally better than running in a lot of cases because your defense actually works for you. And if you're running, it doesn't work for you. Although if you're running, you can get away from enemies faster. So yeah, I don't think rate limiting the general gameplay would be good. And I think that it's very easy to get in the same case with Diablo 2 where you blow past stamina meaning anything and it's just a general cost that has no real purpose in the game. Although maybe that could be fun because I guess if you think about it, your profit is your revenue minus your costs, right? And the only way you can increase your profit in this game is by increasing your revenue because you don't have any costs. But you could also decrease your costs. And when I think about it that way, it seems a little bit cooler. Yeah, you have some like 5 gold per minute cost and you get some player skill that says like, oh, you have no cost for this. There is no, you got a solar panel for your portal and it just powers itself. I need to devote some more time and energy to this, I think. And I'm not really in the design mode right now, which is why I'm sort of no budding people instead of yes ending people. I know it doesn't fit here, but now I really want to see a game where the money is just score, but it's taxed so much you lose it all. That's pretty funny. This feels like the kind of thing where you could sort of tack it on to almost any game. Yeah. Is this game going to be multiplayer? No, this is going to be single player Havocs. I don't think multiplayer would really benefit this game. And I can't really think of a good way to have it benefit. The only thing I could sort of think is like an Archon mode where you and a friend can both control the same town / adventurers, which I don't think would be very fun. It'd be like plugging in 2 mice to one computer and somehow having two cursors. Like, I don't think it'd be all that interesting. I'll take you to the next checkpoint. Yeah, I agree. I'm mostly just sort of interacting with chat. That's it. It's not really that I feel like I should solve the problem right now or anything. But I think what we learned is that if I don't interact with unknown, then unknown just keeps getting more and more forceful until we have to code this thing. I kid, of course, unknown. You're totally fine. Perhaps you could set things up such that there are multiple resources to manage and there's a downside in neglecting one. I just don't want to add too much complexity. That's the other lever here, which is every system you add has some just inherent complexity because you have to understand the system, and it's got some payoff for that complexity. And the payoff could be fun. It could be more decisions that you have to make, or more strategy or difficulty in the game itself, or any other number of things, right? Maybe whatever. It's cosmetics. Cosmetics do add some complexity. You need inventory for cosmetics, and the payoff is your character looks cool. So these systems are to address, I guess, the lack of a money sink. And I think there's a way to do it that is low complexity and probably very fun. And one thing I could think of that I think would be kind of cool, but the game doesn't support it right now, is imagine that you had like roll a new adventurer and you got warrior with 15 power, whatever, 14 fortitude and 500 life. And you roll another one and it's like, oh, this one has 23 power, but only 9 fortitude and a little less life or something like that. And you keep doing this until you get the one that you want. The game doesn't really support this right now. You can only have one of each class. I don't think it makes sense to have multiple. And I also think re-rolling repeatedly can be kind of frustrating, but that's another thing that could be a money sink. Every checkbox we add multiplies the possible configurations. Yeah, exactly. And sometimes those make sense, and sometimes they're isolated enough where it's not a problem. Like, we're going to probably have 4 different audio sliders in the game. I think it's going to be pretty easy to understand. I think it's going to be pretty usable. I don't think there's going to be any problem with that. So that's like, okay, we added a tiny bit of complexity, and the payoff is you can mute all the battle sounds. So cool, clear win. But yeah, these I think are going to be a little bit harder. Now, I do think having something like a literal sink in which you can throw gold, I think something like this could be kind of cool to add just as a flavor thing. Because one of the things I really want to do in the game, we have all these trees. I want some of them to spawn apples. And when you click them, you just get 1 more gold. So at the beginning of the game, maybe you're looking for these apple trees and you're clicking them. And that's it. It's just a beginning of game thing, because who cares about 1 gold later? Or maybe there's a player skill you can eventually unlock, which is like golden apples. The trees eventually spawn golden apples. And you click that and you're like, wait a second, what? Tree spawn apples? Wait, I could click those? and you click them and realize, whoa, the golden ones are worth 1,000. That's pretty cool. In fact, I'm writing that down because I did not think of that until just now, I think. Maybe it was already there. What is going on? Huh. I didn't have that idea written anywhere. Trees can spawn apples that the game never tells you about. Clicking them gives 1G. There could be a player-wide ability that makes them golden and makes them worth 1,000G. At that point, it could finally become clear to you that you can click the apples. Hey, Saturday morning. And thank you very much. Yeah. You mean a wishing well where you can throw in money, pretend, and nothing happens? Yes. Instead of clicking the item giving you gold, playing the item in a shop will have it be sold for the gold. Yeah. I'll write that down. Yeah, so you could drag an apple off of the tree. I guess it'd have to be considered a potion at that point, so the alchemist can sell it. Or maybe you can sell it in any shop. Maybe you could sell it at any shop. Apples are just potions. Maybe when you pick it up off of the tree, it turns into a red potion, so that we don't need to explain that. We don't need to explain why it turned into a potion for no reason. All right, we're going to leave off of this. Storm intensity has been done. The next one is Relentless Crush. So Quick Strike had a way of getting the cooldown. I guess Relentless Crush needs the same thing. See, Thals, it's reasons like this why 2.5 days from now you're not going to be around anymore. Okay, so there's got to be an initialize function that changes the cooldown. And then a get cooldown for tooltip. Why is this here? If this is just get cooldown. Oh, because this is overridden from the base class. Oh my god. Well, this is something. This won't even work because all of this is for a passive ability. Oh, how fun. We need to do this for Crush and not for Relentless Crush. Still think Relentless Crush sounds romantic more than it does sound battle oriented. All right, what is the base cooldown? 3. Public const float base cooldown equals 3. All right, what is Relentless Crush's offset here? Relentless Crush dot that. Let's crush. Okay, so that's get cooldown. I think everything else should just work, right? We have 2 initializes. Oh, nice. We can just call get cooldown. Well, we should make sure that they're literally the same code exactly. It is cooldown minus equal cooldown times the level of this minus the amount per level, which is pretty much what we did here. Curious that we did it that way instead of the other way, but yes, that should work. Equals get cooldown source. All right. Just unlock full nuclear power system in Satisfactory. I think there are games where that level of complexity is probably welcome. But for me, playing those factory games, I like the starting of the game and like the next level where you automate the very first bit and then nothing after that. I don't want to go 6 levels deep and make these giant machines that span the whole world and whatever else. What's the difference between get cooldown source and get cooldown entity? Just the name of this is source because that's what initialize uses. It should probably have been entity maybe. But otherwise, yeah, they're pretty much the same. One of these is, I guess they come from the same place. Yeah, I probably should have just named it entity. All right, so hopefully that works. We're going to test all this at the end. I'm not going to do it as I go because I think there's a lot to do here. So blessing of haste. The duration of this is based on the words of wisdom duration. So words of wisdom level. There we go. And this is going to be this plus this times duration per level. There we go. All right, next up is resonance. Resonance. We want this one actually. And this does more damage. So let's do one of these. All right, resonance level. And what are we doing? So healing causes this plus resonance level times resonance dot that. Yeah. I guess I'll just do float bonus % is equal to this. That way we don't need to make this such a mess of formatting stuff. You take the apple, you buy a plot of land, plant the apple, trees grow, more apples, sell some, keep some, more plots of land, more trees, more apples, pumpkins, more plots. It's basically let's turn this into a farming game, which by the way, Dark had made a sort of farming prototype idea. Where was this? Farm? Oh no, it was in the closed ones. Yeah, what if we had a little plot of land that was devoted to having a farm and you could manage this Skeleseller Valley? Thanks, Avex. But you don't need to worry about that. Even just watching is fine. I think also wishlisting the game helps. Yeah, so we could do something like this in the game. But my idea, which I don't think we're going to add farming, but if we did add farming, my idea was that thank you, Avex. Thanks for the resub. Was that the fully grown fruits and vegetables could have items inside. So you click this pumpkin and a sword falls out, and you click this one and a helmet falls out, and you click this one and there's a potion. I think that would be so fun in a game like Skeleseller. I think it would just make perfect sense. It's like, yeah, you're just growing sword pumpkins and I don't know, like a bow and arrow, rutabaga. All right, shield hardening is next. That comes from shield bash. Shield hardening. So how does this one work? Per level is shield hardening percent per level. Shield hardening level. Get level for entity. Entity. There we go. As it increases your maximum plus shield hardening level times that. Small chance for a pumpkin to turn into an adventure. That'd be kind of cool. I think the more systems you have in the game, the more each can have interplay with each other. You could have it so that every battle you win waters your crops. And after watering them 100 times, they're done growing or something. I don't know. Yeah. All right, next up is improved Holy Link. Damage transfer percent. And improved Holy Link pulls us from where? Percent bonus per level. Should really make functions out of this stuff. Holy Link level. Yeah, there we go. I'll need to clean this commit up then. So that there are functions to compute things that are computed in two different locations, sort of like get cooldown for crush. Probably want to refer to other games like Raid, which have the core combat mechanics down, then it's all random nonsense. Yeah, yeah. Okay, but I think there is a core problem there, which is that Raid is a microtransaction based game. So they need as many ways as possible to hook you in and keep you there and keep you paying and playing. And they need to gate what your progress is based on how much they want you to pay. I think this is how a lot of idle games work because they follow the same general model of have microtransactions. So they just keep throwing in more and more systems, and you always want to like, well, I've got 7 progress bars running at the same time, and I could speed up this one by getting to this point, but I don't have the money, so I'll just spend $5 of real money. And I want Skeleseller to be different from that. And it's not to say that there can't be different systems, but it doesn't need that many different systems, I think. But who knows? Again, checkpoint number 4. Maybe we'll figure out that, hey, people actually stopped having as much fun. We'll see. All right, what's next? Lethality and forked arrows. So this is for poisonous skin. This is damage and duration. Get damage per tick. This already takes lethality into account? No, it doesn't. Lethality. Why didn't I just put this in here? I should have done that. Well, 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 well. In fact, why? Why indeed? Okay, how about let's fix this up. Let's have this taken an entity instead. And we'll get the base power of the... Oh, no, we can't do that. Oh, yeah. Drat. Okay, we got to do this and take in an entity. Because we don't know which kind of power we're going to be taking until we are actually calling this function. And then we need the lethality level. And we need to add in this. Well, I guess we could just do it this way, huh? This plus this times the other thing. I'll just do it this way. I know we can just do 1 plus the percentage and it'd be the same thing. All right, so now we need to call this and not take lethality into account. And then same thing here. Percent power of summoner, interesting. All right. Built a cool game loop around battles. Systems can but don't need to be added to augment that game loop without overhauling it. Yeah. I see what you mean. One of my thoughts was, you know, originally I was debating on the whole active versus passiveness of idle games. And active parts of idle games are typically just clicking buttons and not even really making huge decisions. I feel like your macro decisions are sort of on the long time scale of when do things unlock. And then the passive gameplay is, of course, just like sit around and do nothing. As opposed to the active gameplay of, let's say, a platformer or of an action RPG or of whatever, pick any number of games. Like in a platformer, if you're not pressing buttons, your character's not doing anything. Same thing with an action RPG, you're probably dying in the game. So idle games are very different. And I was originally thinking, how active should we get with this? How do we make it more active? And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, if you try to make this game active, it's going to be a bunch of kind of tedious decisions that you probably want to automate. And then once you've automated them, you've cut out the need to be active for that portion of the game. So we need to introduce some new system that then you're going to automate. And then I just felt like that was going down a bad path. So I'm still debating. I still feel like this is the scaffolding for maybe a slightly more fleshed out game, but I think we'll figure out what that means as we release more checkpoints. Solid rotting bones idea. Save up on gold and buy really expensive golden bones. Wait, but what happens if you go in the hot tub with gold bones? Do you make gold soup? Hey, Mystical Cell. It's going well. It's going as well as it could be. How was your day? Okay, so I think lethality is now taken into account. We're going to hope that it is at least. And the final one is forked arrows. And forked arrows needs to put its percentage into split shot. Yeah. Forked arrows level. It should know how to do this stuff. I don't know why it's not suggesting. Whatever. All right, this plus this times forked arrows percent per level. Okay, cool. Now let's go test every single ability. Start with a golden grill, though. He's zooming on the skeleton's teeth. They're all gold. Yeah, let's make a botland tie-in. That won't drive anybody crazy. Certainly not myself. All right, so these are the abilities we got to take a look at. Let's start with stealth and precision. I think we already looked at those, actually. So as we get points in stealth, this number increases. Yep, 7 seconds. As we get points in precision, these numbers increase. Yep, perfect. Our next up is fatal strikes. So this says Execute says 8%. We put a point in this and it says 12. We put another point in and it says 16. Perfect. Next up, over to Mage. So lightning zaps. 5 lightning bolts dealing 9 damage. So when we put points into this, now it says 10 lightning bolts. And this says 7 lightning bolts. Pretty good, pretty good. Next up is Relentless Crush. Crush says a 3-second cooldown. We put points into Relentless Crush and it becomes 2.7 and then 2.4. What? Is that even correct? No, it's not correct. Oh, man. These are percentages. Base cooldown minus this times this. This is the percentage. Yeah. This is why this is wrong. Okay, so level is going to be, this will be 0.6. So it's going to be times this, times 1 minus this. I think that should fix that. Hey, TJ. You could sell your golden skull. You know, imagine if I was just like, that's it. It's going to be like the purge. For the next day, any chat idea I coded into the game, and we actually adopted all these ideas, which first of all, chat would probably not stop providing ideas. But now we've got a character walking around with no skull in the game because they sold it so they could afford their hot tub that they could get into to make bone marrow broth so that they could go start a farm. They'll level up their adventures with experience points farming. I hope you've all realized what you've done. Wow, this is super fast. Also, I don't think this is technically correct, is it? No, it is. You could have all 206 adult human bones as sellable items to bail out. Wouldn't you only have 205 remaining? I mean, how many do you count as the skull? Like, are you keeping magical floating teeth? Probably not. What part of all this sounds bad? All of it. Stop it, chat. Of not having a working skull, there should be a radius of blur around the skeleton. Are you talking about censoring or that they can't see anymore? Because do you have eyeballs? I don't actually even remember. I don't think so. Oh, wait, we could just go to... No, you don't have eyeballs. Do we have the logo somewhere? Yeah, you just have eye sockets. How are you seeing anything? How's it blurry then? You can see through the eye holes with what? Where are your optic nerves? How do you think without a brain? Well, that's magic. Eyeballs aren't magic, though. You know what you're talking about. This is very funny to me. Oh, man. All right. What was next? We got that one done. So, yeah, words of wisdom. This is blessing of haste for 1 second. We put points into here. Goes up to 2 seconds. I'm guessing. No, that worked. Okay, resonance is next. Increase damage dealt by 50%. So we got to put a point in that. Now this says 90% of your healing gets converted into damage, and then 140%. Thinking magic. No, thinking as a skeleton is magic. Oh, how many times do I have to explain this? Skeletons don't have brains, but they can still think. So they're animated undead. That thought needs to come from somewhere. All right, let's see. Shield hardening. You got to put a point into that. We're shield hardening. Here it is. Okay, and that changes this. So the maximum of 10% goes up to 15 and then 20. Yeah. Improved Holy Link. That's going to change this one. Links you to your allies, causing 15% of the damage they take. This is now 20%, and this is 25%. Okay, then lethality. 9 damage. Still 9 damage. And still 9 damage. Okay, that's broken. I'm probably messing up a percentage somewhere. Or do they bleed? No, they don't bleed. That's preposterous. All right, lethality level. Damage per tick plus equal lethality times percent. What's wrong with this? What is wrong with this? This is poisonous skin, right? Oh, the 0? Should that be 1? Should that be 0 point number? Wait, what are the amounts here? This is 50%. No. That should definitely say like 13 or something. Oh, wait, what am I talking about? I'm looking at the wrong number. 7. 7 is what changes, and it did change. Being dumb. Yeah, I don't think we should show fractions of a number. I think just doing that is fine. And even at level 1, you'll see it go up by 1, which is good enough. All right, what's the last one? Forked arrows. Okay, so split shot says 10% chance to split. We put a point in here. It says 35% chance. Cool. You hire a rogue scientist to build you a new living body, and he requires ever more extravagant fees, expenses, and equipment. So do you know the ending of the game, Trisket? Because the ending of the game is not that you turn back into a human, but rather that you sell an antidote. Which is not to say that we can't have you get your body back even after that. But I like the idea of this going full circle. I wrote out the storyboard somewhere, and I think I shared it with chat at some point. Yeah, I shared it here. Yeah, so the storyboard is all of this. If you want to read it right now, it's there on the screen. But that's for the intro of the game. Yeah, the poison and the antidote thing. Yeah. So, in short, you want to be an adventurer. You go out in the forest, you fight a snake, you get poisoned, you go to town. They don't sell any antidotes, so you die. The ending of the game is this. After beating the final boss, you get an antidote. An adventurer wanders into your town. They're slowly dying due to poison from a snake. You say, I've got just the thing, and run to get them the antidote. They drink it. They don't seem at all surprised or grateful. Of course, there would be a shop that sells antidotes. The final scene is an extreme zoom in on your skeleton's face as it gets angry. Cut to the credits. So I really, really like that ending. But yeah, I suppose you could become a human again after that. Someone shoots the flask with an arrow. That's true, but I don't think owning blood is what people consider to be bleeding. Or else the owner of a hospital is probably bleeding if they ever puncture a blood transfusion bag. They could just be a fraud. You think that's where the gambling thing comes in? You have to figure out where to put your trust in the game. You hire all these NPCs and they do nothing for you. It's Equalite. All right, well, all this works, but there is one other thing I forgot to check. And I really should have done it as I was going through all this. So let's just quit all this stuff and go see. But it's that putting 1 point into an ability shouldn't mess everything up. So we're going to do this one more time. Sorry, I know this is tedious. Although today is going well, at least. All right, grant most things. So stealth and precision. Stealth and precision. 45%. I guess there are no decimal points here, so I guess that would always be fine. Same thing with fatal strikes, that's fine. Storm intensity is fine. Relentless crush, we already tested. Resonance, words of wisdom. I did not test 1 point into this, but that does work. How does that work? Why would I have done that? Base duration. This should say 0 dot pound sign. Yeah. Because if you don't have a point in this, it says, no, how is that correct? What? I don't know how that works, but it does. So whatever. But I'm going to test it again. Shield hardening. Where's that one? Here. That was correct. Yeah. Improved Holy Link. We tested. Lethality. Just modifies this. Yep. And forked arrows, which we tested as well, right? Yeah, cool. All right. I'm going to rerun this one more time to test out whatever change it just made. What is this? Blessing of Haste. It should say 1.52, which is what it used to say, but now I made it more explicitly say that. So 1.52. Perfect. Series of them over time. Your continued failure to help them every time until the end. It's ultimate t-shirt. You know, I kind of wonder if we just spent another year on the game before we even launched it at first, what would it look like? I don't think we're going to spend a year on it, but what if we did? All right, so the last thing that was here that I wanted to do, and I'm kind of starting to lose some steam here, although also I'm starting to get really warm. Skeleseller hoodie. Whew. Sure does keep you warm. Keep that in mind for winter, everybody. Another year, 10 more big systems. What if it's just one really, really big farming system? What if we get down to the minutia? You cut individual leaves off of a plant, crush them in a mortar and pestle. Now we just got to change the compute functions to all be in one spot. Fun stuff. The hoodie is pretty warm, actually. Of a dying person coming into town asking for an antidote, Caesar doesn't want to buy the t-shirt instead. You know, might as well. Yeah, but I had to say something like, I went to Skelletown and all I got was this stupid t-shirt. And then, never mind. I was gonna keep going to that, but I really want to finish this code. The more I keep going with things, the less I'm gonna finish this code. All right, we have the level and per level here, and that's all any of this ever is. It's just figuring out what is a level of a thing, and yeah, what's the total haste you should get. So I guess we could make this a public static float. Shouldn't be here if we're gonna do this. Also, it shouldn't be anywhere, right? Why is it static? Just get base damage. I guess because we need it for a tooltip. I guess so. But then how does poisonous skin work? That must be static, right? It is indeed. Okay, well then that makes it easy. All right, so Blessing of Haste. We go in here, we make a... Where do static functions go at the beginning? Public, static, float, get duration, I guess. Node entity. Does it just know how to do this? It does. Cool. I just did this slightly differently from how I would have done it. Oh my God. I got stuck in that auto-complete thing. There we go. All right, now I got to make sure this is exactly the same. So level is, get the level of that ability. And then base duration plus level times per level. No, wait a second. This is not how this works. All right, I'm being a dummy. Fine, we don't do that. Do we do this for anything then? What am I even talking about? You know what? I'm not going to worry about any of this. Let's check this in. Yeah, let's check this in. Looks good. Looks good. All right, cool. Make ability tooltips reflect bonuses. They only reflect the numerical bonuses, not entirely different modifiers like adds a chance to crit. And this fixes 352. Good. Push and refresh, and this should turn purple. Perfect. We need all tile maps to be in their own files, so the only change, yeah, we did that already. Fix the Z order issue, I'm pretty sure. Dark fixed that already. Need to change cancel auto battle and flee into icons. Yeah. I mean, I guess we could get that from game icons on net. Run. It would work. Although maybe we should make it look to the left. Where is that button right now? This is from 332. What's 332? Oh, yeah. I was just trying to see what the typo was. On Boeing. All right, tackle this. A skeleton technically owns the entire town, right? Yes. So they would own the rights to any t-shirts if that's why you're asking. They can say Skeleton, the registered trademark. Yeah. Okay, let's go get the run icon. FF run. There it is. Then go load that up. Delete the path. Does he pay the shopkeeps? He pays them to run the, like, to join the town in the first place. It's just assumed that they're skimming something off the top, probably. Who owns the land? This is an unincorporated Skella world. So anyone owns it who comes over. I guess you might have to stop an army from invading at some point. Okay, let's put this in here. We have running shoes. Run, Lork. How does it alphabetize these? Yeah, just like how I did. And then all icon data above running shoes. So let's duplicate that. We can put this. This is just going to be run. And then we want to put that icon into the game. Actually, technically, we didn't even need to manifest this because I'm just going to use the asset directly. Just like how we probably didn't manifest a cog. Nah, but it's fine to have. No, it's not fine to have. We're not using it. Why would we do this? Okay, so cancel auto battle is going to get replaced with a flee icon when you click it. Oh, cancel. Oh, darn it. Cancel auto battle needs an icon too, doesn't it? Yeah, whoops. Okay, well, let's just start with flee. You can pick it up and place it for sale for 2 gold. You just want there to be like a million things you could sell. I do think it'd be cool to do that. Like apples growing on the tree and you drag them to sell them. And yeah, you see a sword over here and you're rewarded for exploring these sorts of things. Excalibone. This is probably going to happen. All right. Someday we'll look at that. And we'll think, who gave humanity this much power? All right, icon, can we just drag this over here? Yes, we can. Icon behavior. All right, what size do we want this to be? The other one is 32 by 64. So I think 32 by 32 is probably pretty good. And it just shouldn't have any text. It needs a tooltip, but let's see what this looks like in the game. It's going to be in the wrong position. That part's okay because we can fix that. Yeah, the texture is busted. Also, why is this running twice? I thought I looked at this. Texture is... Oh, it's already set to linear. Why does it look bad then? It looks jagged. It's just, I guess because of just how small it is. I don't think there's any way to make this stuff look good. It'll look better with nearest. Why is this taking so long? Huh. Yeah. Oh well. Minding his own business, taking care of himself with his own two hands, chopping wood, and then pick up that wood and sell it in your shop. I already know where Unknown's going with this. This is the sign Unknown needs to go to sleep. I feel the same way sometimes. Just start proposing more and more ludicrous ideas. Camera froze? Yeah, thank you. How did I fix this last time? I think I just disconnected it completely. I wonder why that's been happening more and more. Is it fixed? Is it coming back? Yes, it's back. Cool. Just take the wood from this poor man. All right, so what do we use for the cancel auto battle button? Is there like a cancel icon we can use? Yeah. Let's go get that one. FF cancel. This is a different person. I don't think we've ever used one of their icons. So I think we need to modify the credits if we do this. Test. Cancel. There was no other cancel icon, was there? Nope. That's okay though. Let's go modify the credits. Actually, you know what? I think I want to just be known as Adam. No, maybe Adam Letters is better. Okay, S bed. This is what they link to? Really? Wasn't there a credits page or something? Huh, yeah, it is. Wow, weird. I don't really know how this helps them. But yeah, let's put this somewhere toward the bottom, I guess. Credits. You know what we should probably do? I guess this is a grid right now. I was going to say we could just make a single label with all of these. But yeah, totally fine. Okay, so duplicate this, S bed, and take your URL. There we go. All right, and then let's move them up, I guess, to there. There. Was this in any particular order, I wonder? Maybe by number of icons used or something, but I think that should be fine. All right, so now we have the cancel button. The cancel button is going to be used instead of the cancel auto battle text, which is here. Oh, I put this in ability icons. I shouldn't have done that. Move the new icons out of the ability icons folder. All right, icon behavior expand. Set this to 32 by 32, I guess. Delete the text. Set the texture to linear. It's already set that way. We can use this for the other close buttons. Actually, that's true. We could. Okay, so now we have icons. Does it have a tooltip on it? Turn off auto battling. It does. Okay, I think it's fine. I was thinking about your desire to change name recently and realized that the learns part contributed to me getting excited to learn stuff. It's like a coded message. So if I were to change names, I would only drop the live from my name, which I don't think anyone would take any exception to. But I was thinking of changing just the channel graphics pretty much, like keeping the name, but instead of a graduation hat everywhere, using the skeleton or something. Banana would take exception. Hey, Banana. Oh yeah, I need to remove the background path. Thank you. Oh wait, no, didn't I do that? I opened something up. Oh, I opened it up. I didn't actually remove it. Got it. Thanks, Kevin. Never come visit again if you weren't live. That's why you don't watch me on YouTube, because I'm just Adam Learns over there. It all makes sense now. Okay, so the only way to test this is to actually have auto battle, which means we need to flee this battle, turn it on. And now there's that, yeah, which has the black background. But yeah, we can click that, then we can flee. This, I think, actually probably should stay as text, really flee. Because it only expands that way when you've clicked it, and you probably mean to click it. And if you don't, then fine, it might show for like 30 seconds. Then it'll go away though. Just one of those laying in bed things. Yeah, I think what I realized is I should change my Twitch profile picture to be me instead of a graduation hat. And I don't know if that's actually going to help with anything, but might as well try it. Okay, so now we need the enchanter so that we can see that icon in the battle. Grant items, put a potion into here, and start a new battle. Yeah, so now we have the icon for enchantments and then the flee button right next to it. So if you did have a bunch of adventurers or battlers, they probably would show up behind that. I guess we can try that out. Go here, get the witch doctor, get all these characters, and then maybe speed this up a little bit. Well, that doesn't work. Maybe we give them bite and zombie legion and zombie leader. There. Now wait for them to regenerate. Try that again. And take a picture. Because now they should actually have enough of them to be behind this thing. Yeah. What do we do? What do we do? We could stack these icons on the left side. You know, another thing I was thinking is that, and I might have mentioned this before, we could put this gem into the instance. It could be like always at the top middle, just in the background almost. How do you feel about adding raids against the town? Something like Fallout Shelter. Raiders come and attack your town, and if you lose, then you'll lose items to sell. If you win, you get some gold or something. I'm wondering how it would actually function, because I don't know how Fallout Shelter is played, but presumably you can like direct your troops or something somewhere, or figure out how to defend. In this game, the way you're battling is by clicking just a start battle button, and they go through a portal. So I think what you'd need to do is you'd have to have it like a raid is happening, and there'd be a defend button maybe, and that would start a battle against the raiders. But there's another kind of issue here too, which is that many people wouldn't even see that a raid is happening. So I think what I'd rather do, in my mind, a raid is a negative that you have to act on. What if there was a positive? So imagine something like a treasure party or something like that, or treasure hunting party. And this is a positive that you have to act on. And it could be something like there's a join the treasure hunt. And when you click this button, you just get more loot or something rather than stopping you from losing loot. Any thoughts on suggested changes? The ones in here? Yeah. So change them into icons, change the position, remove the buttons and put them in a separate menu. I think we should just move them a little bit. Because I think if we... I'm still not totally sure what feedback we're going to get about the enchanter. It might just be obvious how this stuff works. But I think one of the things that could be helpful is like, okay, I was just about to start a battle, or I wasn't even looking at the screen and I came back and I have a battle running, and you see this here and it's like, oh cool, I can just look at a glance and see what my enchantments are. I think if you had to click a button that would open a menu that would give you this stuff, then maybe it'd be a little hard to tell. Although it could just be an entire overlay that shows you your enchantments and gives you a flee button or something. I'm not sure. For now, I think I just want to relocate these a little bit. What if enchant was above the instance window? Maybe the other icons too, like an extra bar. Yeah, it might not look so bad if there are just like, you know, you're in the town view and there's like a little tab here. Although actually, I think it might look a little bad. But yeah, I think, like I said, I'm just going to rearrange these a little bit. I'll just move this up a tiny bit and this to the left, and maybe it'll look fine. So battle mod icon should just go up. They don't need to be in an HBox container anymore. In fact, they don't need to be. This thing takes up the whole. Yeah, I see. Okay, so we just need to move this to the side, right? Can't I just do this? And then same thing with this. Why is this gigantic? Why is this gigantic? I just move this to the side now. Maybe flip so it's running away from the encounter. Yeah, I think that could be a good idea. I don't know if we can do that easily or if we have to change the actual icon. Yeah, I don't think we can just invert this. Maybe if we put a -1 scale on it, which we can't do. Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to actually flip the icon, I think. I don't think it's really worth it right now, but I do think that would be a good change. It's big because it has the size of the crystal still. So I just need to shrink this down. Yeah. Although actually it's going to grow because of the really flee text. But let's repeat a battle and see what happens here. This is not reflecting my changes. Is that the base for a single color enchanter one? It was just one of the ones they had in one of the asset packs. Because, yeah, the enchanter, we have 3 of these crystals. And they turn the color of the jar in front of it, which I know you've already seen, but I'm showing this to everybody. So we put this here, we get a green crystal. We put this here, we get a blue crystal. And we put this here, we get an orange one. In the battle, they show us just a rainbow one to indicate like, hey, this is the collection of all of your enchantments, which I think looks cool. I think it's nice. Okay, so now here's what we have. I think this will work for now. This expands correctly. If we had auto battle on, what would it look like? Yeah. Yeah, it works. I don't love it, but it's not that bad. Yeah. In fact, I almost wonder if the flee button should have been up here, but then I was worried you'd accidentally hit close when you try to click flee and the battle ends anyway. I think I'm going to leave it like this for now. Instead of really flee, confirm flee. I had to say confirm fleeing though, right? Really flee was the shorter way of saying it. What was I going to do? Oh yeah. Maybe we can position the crystal in the middle bottom of the instance and the flee one on the top left. The crystal could go to the middle bottom. Yeah, the only thing is then anything that was here is probably going to get covered almost completely. So we move this. Unfortunately, I'm just kind of moving this blindly right now. If I hit repeat, does it take effect? I don't think so. Well, I'm not sure why. Why doesn't it? We're making a new one of these every time, right? Oh, maybe I need to close the instance for it to take effect? No, I don't know why. Yeah, there's unfortunately no easy way for me to tell how this is aligned. Maybe what we can do is instantiate in a dungeon instance. Oh, that works. Well, isn't that just wonderful? Okay, cool. So now that we can see it, we can just put this. Whoops, wrong one. We can put that like right there. Yeah. All right, now hide that and that. Oh, wait, no, other way around. I think. I don't know. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Create a battle. So flee button's at the bottom left. We can even move that farther down now. This whole thing could be moved down slightly. Is that good, or is that going to be too far on the bottom of the screen? It didn't actually take effect, right? I don't know why I bother doing that. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, now what about with the enchanter? So flee, repeat battle. Then the enchanter crystal's at the bottom. It's not super obvious when it's gray. Maybe it'll be more obvious when it's lit up. Not really, no. It doesn't really look like a UI element either, unfortunately. It looks like it's just part of the world and doesn't really belong there. I don't think I'm going to worry about it. But yeah, I do think it's less obvious. Next idea is top center, going slightly outside the instance. I think the viewport's going to stop it from going slightly outside the instance, though. So we need to put it in a different scene entirely. Like if I put, if I just take, just to show you this, if I put this here and then restart this thing, I think all you're going to see is the mouth of the icon. Yeah. They turn into fleas and bounce away. We had infinite budget and infinite artwork. I would probably do things like that. I like little things like that, little ideas. And I think it doesn't take a lot to add some personality to the game. But I think there are lots of other things we got to do first. All right, well, for now, as I mentioned, I think this is good enough. And I think we just need to move these icons out of the ability icons folder. So assets, actually, let's just move them through the command line. cd dash, what's it called? Run.svg and cancel.svg. Okay, now it's going to break the game. So we look here for run.svg. And we hope that we can just delete this and not have any problems. And then same thing with cancel.svg. Does that work or does that break? Yeah, looks like it worked. Yeah, looks like it worked. What if there's a literal Easter egg you can pick up and put up for sale? What if they grow on trees? Do I need to move the import files too? I don't think they're in any special location. But I think I could have just deleted those entirely. Only once, maybe for Steam achievement. The thing is, okay, so my honest take on this is I think these are the kinds of things that maybe at best like 300 or 400 players might experience and be like, oh, that's funny, I get that. And if the game's successful, we need thousands of players and they'd all be like, what just happened? Why are random other characters jumping in? So maybe it's like, well, if you connected it to Twitch, or if we, let's say Jump Royale were a released game, if we detected that you had a save file for that game, we could do something about it. Like those are the kinds of things I feel like, all right, we're now showing it to people who will appreciate it. But I think if we just show it to everybody and it happens just kind of randomly, I think that would be a little jarring. All right, the flee button still works. Does the auto battle button still work? Come on, go into the portal. Yeah. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so we kind of fixed this issue, but kind of not really. Yeah. 332. Make icons out of battle buttons. The text could cover battlers. Fixes 332. I'm not super happy with the result since the crystal icon doesn't look like a UI element where it resides, but it's better than obscuring battlers for now. Also, the other thing is, if you don't know what's on during a battle, you at least know what you had enabled. So it won't be a total mystery to you, or like it won't be information you couldn't have known. It would be information you might not have remembered. Also, I'm not even saying it's not accessible. It's accessible. It's just not super obvious. So again, the idea is something like this. You put a potion into the enchanter pot and then you alt tab out of the game. You come back like 40 seconds later and you see a battle running and you don't know to look at this. And you're like, oh man, I used an item, didn't I? And you don't know how to answer your own question. You have to know to hover here. So you have the answer to your question. You just don't know how to get it. I have duplicate import files. Uh-oh. Are those checked in though? They're not, right? Where does this come from? Reveal in Finder. Cancel.svg.import. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, and run.svg.import. But I'm pretty sure those don't get checked in, right? No, they do. Oh, drat, they do. Okay, yeah. All right, get log -1. Move icons out of battle buttons. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for telling me about that. I definitely would not have realized that. Plus and commit and save. Cool. Make it pop. Yeah, I think we'll have to do something like that. I'm going to have to wait until a little bit later because I want to do all the UI stuff at once, I think. Hey, Calic. First glance, I thought you were playing the new Zelda game. I want to get back to that, actually. Yeah. All right, and then let's push this. And this should be marked fixed. Perfect. All right, now what's this stuff? Need to move the loot to a treasure box. Need to fix borders around instances. And sound stuff. Yeah, I'll fill out the journal. Then it's probably time to get going. Some of the remaining skill tree tasks. Worked on some miscellaneous tasks in the afternoon. We closed, I think, 3 issues today. closed. Closed now, 20 minutes ago, an hour ago, 6 hours ago. Okay, that wasn't my work, but I closed 4 issues today, technically. Not too bad. Yeah, an outline might also help too. Yeah. A non-insignificant crater on the map. You pick it up and put it for sale. I think that'd be worth at least 5 gold. Yeah. Oh yeah, for those who think I'm shortchanging you, I am not. I have technically exceeded the 6-hour proposed time for the day. But also, I want to take today a little bit easier. On Friday, I'm not going to be working tomorrow. On Friday, I have this written for Saturday stuff, but I haven't even gotten to that. I think we may be looking at the sound stuff and maybe start looking into having adventurers act as, or sorry, customers act as customers. What were the big things I had on the list? Add skill trees. Okay, that's now done. So we can put that in here. Checkpoint 4, revamp skill trees. Made the skill tree the focal point when it's open. Boss monsters, sound effects, customers acting like customers. Bolden and Chanter still has some issues there. It's like on top of each other, stabilizing, balance progression. Oh god. Skill tree design. We're done with this. We're done with this. Fix saving and loading. Oh boy. All right. You know what? Maybe Friday can be a music day. Although that might not be a good idea. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Yeah, I think we get going for now. Where did chat go? There they are. Also change the levels to ranks. Oh yeah, that's right. Class now 7 points. Skills only unlock after spending a certain number of points. You get fewer skill points. Levels are now ranks and only go up to 7. Yeah. Get out of the boss room. Yeah, maybe Friday's the day we'll do bosses. Friday, maybe spend the day on bosses. Probably need to figure out how progression is gated and how instances open up. All right, I'm going to go see if there's someone online I already want to raid. I don't want to find someone new right now. Did I raid IRAD recently? I don't remember, but I'm raiding them anyway. Keyboard doesn't work in response to people. Sorry, I got it in the reply feature. I mean, yeah, it's a corn keyboard though. All right, I'm gonna raid IRAD. Feel free to join Discord. If you haven't already wishlisted on Steam, there's the link to do that. I'll be back on Friday. I am not going to be working tomorrow, and then next week should be a return to sort of the usual schedule where I have a little bit more direction on what's happening here. But yeah, I hope you have a good rest of your day and take care. Bye, everybody.